Welcome to Dimension 119, a dimension where anything can happen. Prepare for the strange and unexpected. Enjoy today's episode.
What's going on, everyone? It is Nathan with Dimension 119, and we're back at it again for more Orlunds Magical Mountain Emporium. This is episode 8 of Steve's campaign that he's running for us. That's just being hosted here on the channel. You can find, I believe, all previous episodes are up on your channel, right, Steve? Got a nod, yes, so that means we're good there. I will post the link to Steve's YouTube channel in the chat here in just a second if you're interested. Show some support, some love, like, subs, and all of the above, and give us some support there. Help Steve out, help us out a little bit as we stream this game. Steve, it is all yours, bud.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the game, and a special welcome back to all the players that have surprisingly survived thus far. So, I'm Steve. I'll be the DM today, and we'll go ahead and we'll do more of a communal regroup this time. And anybody who wants to partake in the recap of the last session can award themselves an inspiration point. So let's start with introductions and anything you want to add for the recap for the last game. So, Rob, let's go with you.
What up, y'all? I'm Nug. Still the Turtle Monk. Still alive, which I'm surprised at. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember a whole lot of what happened last session, so I'm gonna have to smoke this pipe of remembrance and recap it for myself.
Right on. All right, let's go to the Pally brothers. Landon.
I'm Grom. I'm a half-orc vengeance paladin, and me and my homie Bob, the paladin, serve Tempest, and right now we're been tasked to conquer the mountain to claim the treasure in Tempest's name. What we're doing right now specifically is we're in a chapel, and we've fought some kind of undead ghoul things, and we're still working our way through this chapel. It's a very decadent and gilded chapel of Lathander, I think, right? Yeah. We're out here for this money, man. Trying to get paid.
All right, Bob.
And paid we will be. This is Bob the Pally, Paladin of Tempest, Holy Champion, glorious knight of the God of War. As Grom said, we've been tasked to try to overtake this mountain in his name. We are, as he said, also we're in the middle of dealing with some funky undead looking creatures that were apparently summoned by an Illithid, or not an Illithid, but an Elhoon, which is very similar, if not the same thing, just different words. Who knows? Who cares? They got face tentacles and they're trying to kill us. We fought with him. We inflicted a good amount of damage. Somehow he still managed to escape the icy tendrils of death. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that'll play out later. And hopefully we get to spread word of this grand temple of the Morning Lord if we make it back to the Watchtower or whatever it's called.
The over.
The Overlook.
I'm Mike. I play Chief. I'm a Tiefling Rogue Scion, and we just finished fighting the Alhoon and his undead something or others. And now we're getting ready to trek on out of that cathedral. I don't really have much to add to anything anybody else said.
All right, Nathan.
I am playing Dave the Barbarian. To correct what everyone else said, I in fact did kill the Alhoon, destroying it so bad that its body completely vanished. What looked like a magical explosion. But Dave did vanquish this foe, or at least that's what he wants to believe. Yeah, and got some good health when we leveled, and got a cool new thing where I get advantage on initiative. So let's hope and pray that my dice don't render that useless.
Nice. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the depths of the Emporium, specifically to the chapel in the Cathedral of Lathander of Fallen Priests. We join you guys back after an uneventful but fitful night's rest, barricaded here in the chapel, binding your wounds and staunching your resolve to plunge deeper into this cathedral. Everybody can award themselves an inspiration point. Also, I'd like to congratulate everybody on leveling up to level 7 and making it thus far. When you guys last were in session, you discovered a locked chest in an anteroom off of this cathedral, and then you realized you needed a special key to unlock this chest. And using your deductive powers, you decided that it must be deeper in this cathedral somewhere. Finding another hallway, Nug found storerooms and what looked like kitchens and possibly priest chambers and cleric chambers and another wing, when you were beset upon by the skeletons and zombies that serve this Alhoon master, who engaged you in a brief but violent combat before escaping your grasp by teleporting out. So you're all out of combat, you're all patched up and had yourself a little bit of sleep and some food. What would you guys like to do?
Well, I guess we'll gather our things and prepare to continue looking around.
Do we not want to find the way to open this chest?
That's what we're
Absolutely, we do.
Let's take a look around.
I mean, worst comes to worst, brute strength, you know.
Well, Grom searched the chapel, the main cathedral, pretty thoroughly in his detect magic and his excavation of the things around. And Teeth searched out that first balcony, which had nothing but some nice cushy furniture on it. And then Nug began the search of the hallway, but he doubled back to you guys after stopping just inside the first junction of rooms.
And we rested in the quarters we found on the first floor, right?
You guys actually barricaded yourselves in the cathedral
Okay.
and took your rest there.
Well, I guess we should explore the rest of this place and try and find a way to open this chest. Hey, boys.
Is the chest movable?
No one's tried to move it.
I bet we can pick it up.
I'm just worried about the chest not being here when we get back. You never know what's going to happen here.
We could assign one of us to sit here and guard the chest, and I totally volunteer for that.
Very brave of you. I'll try and pick it up by myself.
Go ahead and give me a strength check, Grom.
Like just plus my strength modifier.
Yep. A D20 roll plus your strength.
Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah, you take a nice hefty squat down in front of this thing and wrap your big burly half orc arms around it, and you go to stand up and this thing just doesn't budge. It feels like you're trying to lift the cathedral itself.
Thing's a little heavier than it looks, boys. Anybody else have any ideas? Maybe we can just break the lock.
Hang on one second.
I mean, we very well could just try smashing it open.
Yeah. That's the only way I know how to solve problems is direct violence.
Hey, Steve, Bob has that priest's ring that gave him glimpses into the cathedral and the past.
Correct.
If
The
I
ring
put
of
it
the
on,
high player.
yeah, I wanna put it on, and I wanna see if maybe I can maybe search the ring's memories for anything about a key for this chest. Maybe feel
All
it
right.
out.
Go ahead and, well, I assume you still have the ring on because you put it on originally, and
I never said I took it off. Yeah.
So
Right.
you can actually make a wisdom check to see if you can pull something from the depths of the ring.
Ooh, it's gonna be scary. Bob's not very wise. 9.
Yeah, you feel a slight warmth wash up your arm from the ring, but you don't get any flashes of memory coming out of it.
Well, maybe I'll try to touch the lock with the ring.
Okay,
Does anything
so you're
happen?
gonna walk over and just
I'm gonna
place
walk
your hand on
kinda-
it.
Right, and maybe like try to
Because if you remember
I don't know,
right,
maybe-
when Teeth tried to unlock it, he found down around the base of it there was a small depression that was shaped like
Right.
a sunburst, like a symbol of thunder. Now the ring you're wearing doesn't have that shape on it to be able to press into the depression. It's actually just a gold ring with a tiger's eye embedded in it. But as you come up and you extend your hand out like you're going to touch this chest, everybody make me a Constitution saving throw.
Remember also for your saving throws, you get my
Can I drop into my shell?
aura of protection
13.
plus 3.
19.
16.
I want to use an inspiration.
You
Did
said
I get that?
Constitution, right?
Correct.
Oh, that's so much better.
21.
20.
Is anyone under a 10?
Yeah, I have a 9.
24. Did you add the 3
So-
from my charisma bonus?
I did. I rolled a 3.
Oh shit.
Anybody else? Just Grom under a 10?
Yeah.
All right. So Grom, you're the only one. You were actually looking directly at the chest as Bob approached it. Everyone else kind of flinched away. Bob, especially, he was kind of had his eyes closed as he was approaching it, being a little extra wary. But this bright flash of gold light emanates from the chest and in just a huge burst. And it actually, as it dissipates, it sucks back down into a small little pinpoint of gold light and then swings up and slides into the tiger's eye that rests on this ring on your hand, Bob.
Outstanding.
So what happened to me?
You,
You're blinded
Okay.
for 1 round.
so then I double check and see if I can open the box or not.
The box is actually gone. The entire area where the chest was, it looks like someone just took like a hand made out of like lava and scooped the entire chest out of the stone. You can actually, if you get close and look at it, you can actually see that parts of the rock are actually still hot to the touch.
Dude, did you just suck the chest into your ring?
I think so. But at least we might have it in our possession now. So you wanted it to move, and it moved.
Well,
All of
solves the
Tempest's
problem.
name.
Let's go.
Yeah, so let's put a pin in that. I'm as shocked as you. Dave is just dumbfounded. He's speechless in awe of what just happened.
Dave has
Chief is not
definitely
only
taken
dumbfounded,
multiple steps back away from you.
Good. I don't know what.
Everyone give me a
Should we
perception
get
roll.
moving?
I mean, I failed perception because I'm blind, right?
You're only blind
okay.
for a round. It's just, it was a magical defense on the chest.
7.
21.
13.
7.
Natty 1.
Hey, that's what I used my inspiration for.
Getting them out of the way early, boys. I like it.
I've got
Smart
a
thing.
16.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm
we
throwing
got
good rolls now. When they matter, I'm gonna die.
Dave and Teef both rolled low.
I mean, if you count 6 as low.
I mean, who would do that?
So Bob, Grom, and Nug, you guys sense it, but it doesn't appear that your companions do. You feel a tremor begin emanating from deep within the stone. Feels like the stone itself is vibrating.
I didn't do it.
Like the whole foundation stone around us, or just that room?
It seems to be coming from somewhere deep underneath your feet.
Okay. So, all right. So what do we know? We know that we're stuck in this cathedral, way underwater. We know that there's untold amounts of evil enemies in this place, apparently. And somehow I sucked up a chest into my ring, possibly, even though the ground is hot. And now we're trembling. Do you think maybe the item we need to clear the floor is in this cathedral?
Well, haven't we already searched this part of the cathedral?
Well, yes, but we need to search more. And if we think we're wasting time trying to find our item of completion, maybe we should think
Well,
about
What I'm thinking is that the item of completion is now in this chest, and we still need to find that key.
There is no chest anymore. It's gone.
Uh, yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, you suck that shit up into your ring. It's just a matter of how to get it back out.
Well, whatever. It, having it in a chest isn't helping, and I don't know how to get it out.
No, who could probably answer this question. It's that creature that ran from us. If we find it, I can get the answers from him. It. Or kill it.
What?
Yeah.
Either one.
Okay.
that was my thought. Like, before or after you kill it.
But Dave, my friend, did you not slaughter the beast?
You saw what happened. Unless you were hiding again.
Just trying to make sure. Yeah, hiding. I was unconscious for most of that fight. I'm not gonna lie.
You were stunned for a while.
Oh man, it was the worst. It was the worst. All right, so let's.
The only other part of the
down the
cathedral we have.
hallway then,
Okay, yeah, that other hallway.
because that's our next closest way to go. So let's go that
We
way.
could probably skip the first two rooms unless you guys. It's just the larder and the storage for like food.
Food.
That's where I stopped.
That's where I'd start.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you stay here
So-
and go through the food then, Dave.
This corridor is a 20 by 20 corridor, so you couldn't march as abreast as you normally do in your normal battle formation. So, how would you guys like to be ordered or structured for this?
Dave will light up a torch and march forward.
Bob follows suit for the most part, maybe hanging just a couple feet behind Dave.
I'll take up my usual rear position.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'll take the rear position.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be wherever. If we have to go single file, it'd probably be good to have the squishy people in the middle, right?
Or in the
Well, the
front.
corridor is 20 by 20, so you could march 2 abreast, but you couldn't march 3 abreast like you guys were before.
Yeah.
So, Dave and
So I imagine it's Dave and Bob up in the front,
yep,
Grom and Nug in the middle, and
Yep.
Teeth hanging out in the back with a head on a swivel.
agreed.
Beautiful. So you make your way down this corridor. It's made out of the same light bluish stone that the rest of the cathedral is made from. If you took the time to admire it, you'd see that the craftsmanship is flawless. Almost looks like as if it was magically created, but the histories say that this was actually built by the hands of Lathander and priests in honor of the Morning Lord centuries ago. You come to the first junction of doors. This hallway extends to the limit of your dark vision, and at the first set of doors, Nug instructs you all that the one on the left is a food larder that actually still contains fresh, ripe vegetables, and that the door on the right is a large kitchen containing another small pantry full of spices and things of the like, a completely field ready kitchen with all the necessary equipment. But that he stopped his exploration after these rooms to rejoin you. Everybody give me another perception roll. Nug, Grom, and Bob, you all have advantage on it.
18.
24.
Nice.
16.
Grom is super frosty.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Chief?
18.
All right, so everybody's above board now. Dave, you and Teef both feel it this time as well, but the other three of you feel it again. The tremor is more severe this time. You can feel it under your feet, almost as if it's closer.
Ruh-roh.
I'm going to say to everybody, it feels like there's something coming. Be on the lookout. Heads on swivel.
Does this feel anything like what happened the last time we felt a rumbling and shaking?
Not quite the same. This has almost a violent air to it, where the other one had more of like a magic hum to it.
True to form, Dave is gonna yell cave in and start running.
Oh, here we go again.
At least you're in the front, so you're not bowling people over.
True. I'm just gonna stick my right foot out and trip him.
You can make a trip attempt against him if you want.
No, I don't want to.
So Dave shouts cave in and takes off running down this hallway. So you pass the second set of doors, Dave, and you are almost your long strides are just carrying you. Like these doors begin to pass you. And as you pass a set, another set opens up at the limit of your distance. They're just lining both sides of this tunnel, just these well made wooden doors. And before you even realize it, you've run probably 30 yards and you look back over your shoulder to take a glance at your party, and they appear to be probably 150 feet behind you. You can see the dim glow of Bob's torch.
Do I still feel the rumbling? Does it feel any different, like as I've gone down the tunnel, or the corridor?
Well, the rumbling came on and then faded away again. So you don't feel it right now, but you're immediately grabbed by the fact that you feel like you only ran a few paces, but there's a measurable amount of distance between you and your companions now.
So it feels like I've traveled farther. It looks like I've traveled farther than it feels like. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna try to run back to the party and see, try to keep pace in my mind a little bit and see if it, probably not in my mind, probably like trying to count steps out loud as I'm kind of jogging back.
Right, like getting a cadence going
Yeah.
for how you would march on the plains in the desert. And you take off again, that lead foot leaves the ground. You start building your speed for the first couple of steps, and you look up and you literally have to come skidding to a halt because you're that close to the party again. I guess it would be Bob, Grom, and Nug, since you're the first three. It seems almost as if Dave ran off and was just all of a sudden way down the hallway and then was right back in front of you again.
Are we dealing with a portal or what?
Why don't
Or
you
I've
go down
gotten
there
really
and check out
fast.
a room?
We should see if Dave's the only one affected by this. So maybe someone else.
How many doors did Dave pass?
Two sets of two.
From where you're standing, he passed probably 4 or 5 on each side. But from where his perspective is a completely different story. Dave, you feel like you ran past probably 20, 25, maybe 30 doors.
I'd relay that to the party and let them know like how try to describe how far down the hallway I went and just kind of gauge their reactions.
You sure about that, man?
Bob would look at him like, what do you mean? You were gone, now you're back. Like, this is ridiculous. And he's going to say, I'll be right back. And he's going to run down the hallway.
Bob, you're no stranger to physical exertion. Cardio is a big part of the training with Tempest. You can remember when you were an acolyte, just a wee one, learning the ways that one of the main things you guys did in the morning was your cardio work before you began weapons training. And you start the engines and push off, and you feel like you've gone maybe 2 or 3 steps, and you glance back over your shoulder, and the group must be 80 or 90 feet behind you at this point. The rest of you see him say, I'll be right back, and push off, and he's gone. You can see his torch distantly down the hallway.
I'm also going to leave my torch, and I'm going to run back to the party and see if I can still see the torch from over there. I don't know why. I just want to do that.
Okay, so you set your torch down on the ground.
Feels like 3 feet.
Yep, you feel like you only take a couple of paces and you're skidding to a stop to not crash into Dave and Grom and Nug. You turn around and look back behind you, and you can see just a faint glowing orange spot way down in the distance. Feels like you felt like you probably were 80 or 90 feet away from them when you stopped and turned around and looked at them. But if you were looking at this dot now, you feel like this torch could probably be like hundreds of feet away from you right now.
That's crazy.
Hold this. And Dave just like sticks his hand out in everyone's general direction with an end of a rope.
Bob will grab it.
And as soon as someone takes it, he'll take off running. I mean, obviously it's 50 feet and it's tied around his waist. Just trying to test and see what happens.
Give me a reflex saving throw, both of you, Bob and Dave.
All right, remember.
Actually, Bob, give me a strength save.
Okay, remember
Just a strength
plus
check.
3 to your save, Dave.
Doesn't he have to be within a certain amount of feet of you?
Yeah, probably outside of your
you're
aura.
absolutely right. Absolutely. Sorry, I was thinking he was still right next to me.
If it's a dex save, that's a 17.
I got an 18.
So both of you miraculously are not prepared for it, but you react to it quickly. Dave, almost a single step into this run, and you feel this rope snatch taut around your waist, and you pull your feet quickly underneath you to keep yourself from falling. And Bob, almost immediately, the end of this rope is just tugged taut, and you're like, you got to grip down on it and spread your feet apart to brace yourself against the pull of Dave. And you look, and he's 50 feet ahead of you, and the rope is stretched tight between the two of you. Dave, you turn around and look back over your shoulder at Bob, and he's 50 feet away from you, and the rope is stretched taut between you. You can actually see the tension on the rope.
How far away does that torch look? Does it look farther again,
Hundreds of
or
feet. From where you're standing, it looks probably a couple hundred feet away from you.
like farther than it was before I took off running the 50 feet, or 50 feet closer?
No, comparable.
Okay. I'll just kind of, I guess, walk back, coil in the rope back up, as I'm going, just well, I mean, I guess take a step back and
Bob, he's right back in your face, like recoiling this rope in front of you.
No, I toss in the other end that I'm holding, and I say, "Well, I guess we can still just, or we could keep going, but I'm at the end of my rope."
So right now, you guys are standing in front of the second set of the second set of doors. Nug checked out the first set on the first door on each side. You're standing in front of the second door on each side.
I'm gonna try the door on the right.
You twist the handle and you hear the mechanical lock click, and the door sticks just like the first set of doors did. But you throw your shoulder and part of your shell into it, and it swings open, and you can see that it's what appears to be a small storage area for like extra books for the chapel, extra robes for acolytes, extra braziers and censers for burning incense, and there's even a few small statues, marble statues that can be changed up in the layout of the cathedral that are stored in this room.
Could I investigate like the books and the robes? Check the pockets and shit. I mean, we're looking for a key, right?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a investigation or survival.
Survival. 14.
The books are the same as the ones that are in the chapel right now. They're hymns and songs praising Lathander, stories of his grace. The robes are all rough spun tunics and cloaks for acolytes and things of that nature. The only thing that looks like it would probably be of any real value in this place is these three statues, these three marble statues that are standing off to one side of the room. One of them depicts a knight of Lathander on horseback charging in, and another one depicts Lathander as an old wise man. And then the third one is a small spherical shaped object that is made to resemble the actual planetary sun itself as a resemblance of Lathander.
Okay. Can I actually pick up the statues and examine them, look for any like depressions or whatever?
Yeah, they're all probably 2.5 feet tall, made out of marble, so they're probably 150 pounds a piece.
They're solid marble. There's no chance that they were hollow or anything like that. Okay.
Yes. As you pick them up, the weight definitely signifies that these things are probably one solid piece.
Okay. And they're just sitting on the shelf. It's not like they're sitting on bases.
Yeah, it's like there's a little table, like a little 3 or 4 pace wide table, like almost a high standing bench that they're all sitting on.
Okay. All right. I am going to. Will the door stay open if I leave the room?
The door is still open right now. When you
Okay.
walked in, you left it
Okay.
open as you came through.
I was just checking to see whether I need to prop a door with one of these statues, but it doesn't really look like there's anything in here of use to me, unless anybody else wants to go through. So I'm going to come back out in the hallway. Not much in there, just basically relay what I found or didn't find. So.
Okay.
While he's checking the room, can Dave kind of like examine the floor and the walls up to the height that he possibly can, just to see if there's any kind of markings here in the hallway where he's at, kind of around these
Sure.
like near these doors and everything, as far as like not like just around the doors, but you know, trying to see if we're stepping through something that's making this weird distance thing happen.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a check.
Investigation, perception.
Investigation.
10.
You don't see anything that stands out. You see the typical molding and, detail work that you would normally see, in churches, but you don't see anything that specifically stands out like, oh, this might be something.
Is anyone gonna check the other door?
I kind of want to run back down there and grab my torch.
I'll check the other door.
I want to go grab my torch and I want to come back and I want to throw it down the hallway and see if it magically teleports away. That or I can
Okay.
just grab Dave's
That's
torch.
an interesting theory.
Well, it might
Okay.
help me.
No, I'm saying it's a sound theory.
Yeah.
So you take off.
Nothing is what it seems.
You feel that same thing, like you've only gone a few paces, and in front of you on the ground is your torch. And you pick it up, you turn around and you look back, and the group appears to be 80, 90 feet away from you. And you look back down the darkened hallway, and what's the range on your dark vision? 60 feet?
Let me look. It might be 80, but I think it's or 90, but let me look.
Either way, you turn around and look, continuing down the hallway the opposite way, not towards your companions. And you can see to the limits of your dark vision more doors on each side of the hallway, continuing down the hallway.
It's a lot of doors.
Is Jim Morrison here?
Yeah, it is 60 feet. Okay, cool. I'm going to write that down.
So right now, if you turn around and look back at your party, they appear to be just outside the limits of your dark vision, but you can see them because of the glow emanating from Dave's torch.
Right, so I'm going to run back to them.
Same thing, 2-3 paces, and boom, you're skidding to a stop again.
Then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to hurl my torch down the hallway.
Give me a strength check.
That's going to be a 9.
And you take it and you whip it forward, and it feels like you're throwing underwater.
Ugh.
You try forward, and it sails out probably what appears to you, 3 or 4 doors down, and it slowly and sluggishly drops to the ground, and you see sparks blast off of it as it bounces twice and comes to a rest.
About like 40 feet, you said?
Yeah, probably 40, 45 feet down the hallway in front of you.
Now I want to take like another step or a couple of steps towards there, not running or anything, just a couple of steps to see if I can get it or if I'm going to overshoot it.
And you take that first step, and you're standing above this torch that's pretty much guttering out on the ground.
Interesting. So I'm going to grab my torch back up again and see if I can get it settled and take my next step back towards the group.
And you're standing next to them, blowing on your torch, reignite the flame.
Guys, something ain't right. This is an endless hallway.
We don't know if it's endless.
Well, we don't know if it has
Just
an end either.
strange.
Very. I said. So then I'm gonna look back at the other door where Nug is about to open.
And Nug, you go over to the door on the left as you see Bob take a step down this hallway, and you hit the handle and throw your shoulder against it, and the door pops open after being stuck for some time, and it swings wide, and you can see that there's two double sets of bunk beds and two large trunks and two wardrobes in this room. It's set up as a 4-person bunkhouse.
Okay. Can I inspect the beds? Are there sheets and shit on there?
Yep. Everything's made to almost
I just want.
hospital quality.
We're looking
cleanliness.
for a key, so I'm just turning shit over. Checking
Okay.
everything I can.
Make your investigation
or survival.
Yep.
Dirty 20.
So you start lifting up these straw stuffed mattresses and pulling blankets off of beds, looking for stuff, and you find a small leather pouch underneath the bottom bed on the right side of the room. But that's the only thing you find.
What's in the pouch?
You pull the drawstring back and open the neck of it up, and inside you can see an extremely fine powder that, as it catches the light of the torches in the hallway, you can see like a silvery white flash across the top of the powder.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put that in my tie it to my belt or whatever, and then and I'll check it out later. Nothing else in this room though.
There's 2 foot lockers at the end of the bunk beds, and there's 2 large wardrobes, one standing against each wall.
Okay. I'm gonna check out the foot lockers first. Let's do the one closest to me.
So the one on the right hand side, you go over and you grab the latch on it and turn it and pull it open, and inside is a decently made set of boots and a few spare changes of clothes and what looks like somebody's journal or diary entry book for, whatever it was they did. Looks like something that somebody probably hand wrote.
Okay. I'm gonna take
Doesn't
the diary.
have any embossing on it. It just is a leather sleeve with a bunch of papers in it.
Is it written in common?
Or it is. You crack the cover open and it's written in common, and it tells you that the diary belongs to a Navala, a soon-to-be priest of Lathander, an acolyte in training here at the cathedral.
Okay. Does it look like these beds have been slept in, or
not recently? Everything's made like super neat and clean. You don't see any dust on anything, but it looks like they probably keep a very strict, standard of quality when it comes to keeping the cathedral and the anterooms clean. Like the kitchen, it reminds you of that. Like, obviously people were using it, but when they clean this thing, they clean it right.
Right. Okay. All right. Let me check the. Let me take the journal and the boots, and then check the other foot locker.
The other foot locker you can see has a large brass padlock hanging through the front latch on it.
Okay. You said it's a glass padlock?
Brass.
Oh, brass. I was like, a glass padlock? What the hell? Okay. That sounds like a Dave job. I'm going to inspect the wardrobes.
Inside, you see a few different traveling cloaks and some extra tunics and robes. Nothing appears to stand out as like exceptionally well made or anything, but they're all just, base quality clothing.
For sure. All right. And that's the same for both of them?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I put the boots and the journal in my pack, and then I'm gonna leave the door open just in case anybody else wants to go in and check it out. Come back out into the hall. Basically, relay what I found.
Dave will look over to Teef. Sounds like your roguish skills are up.
I think you are right. I'll go ahead and head on in there with my lock-picking tools. And
He'll kind of call after you as you step towards the door. Don't let Bob near it.
Fair enough.
Bob pushes everyone out of the way and goes and grabs the damn thing.
All right, Steve, give me a roll for your sleight of hand for lock picking.
17.
You get up there and you're like, and the lock opens up. And you actually open it up with enough playroom to be able to reuse the lock if you decide to later. It's a standard quality brass padlock.
I'm going to go ahead and put that lock in my pack. Keep that forever.
Nice.
Since I'm here, I'm going to kind of rummage through this thing as well.
You crack the lid open. You're immediately caught off guard because there's only one thing inside this chest. And it's a red with purple trim velvet pillow. And sitting right on the top of it is this worn, beaten circlet of leather.
Well, this looks pretty cool. I'm going to pick it up and check it out.
It's it looks like leather, but it's made out of some material you're not familiar with. But it looks extremely well made, but it looks extremely old, like it's been worn for a long time.
I'm going to put it on, see if it fits.
Okay, so you pick it up, put it on, and it sits kind of lopsided on your head due to your horns. But it doesn't feel any different to you.
I'm going to turn to my compatriots and say, what do you guys think?
I think you've been chanting with Janet in the cabana with a bandana.
You're saying he needs mana?
Yes. Looks like a leather strap, buddy.
Yeah, man. Put it on, man.
You're strapped on. Oh, but it looks good on you, though.
It doesn't look particularly impressive, if I'm being honest.
Went out the door when you said yes, two spawns.
Is that all you found?
And here, I mean, this journal, but it doesn't seem.
I'm also taking the pillow.
You're also taking the pillow.
Oh man,
Is it
it's a pretty nice pillow. It's a pretty nice pillow.
It's one of them my pillows.
It sounded like a pillow of the gods.
Pillow of the gods.
Damn right.
It's a
I mean, he needs it too. His head is downright horny.
True
Better
that.
put a case on that thing.
He has one now.
Aye.
Ribbed.
Dave is gonna take a step down the corridor and look at the next set of doors that he comes to, whether it's 5,000 feet down the hallway or whether it's one step down the hallway.
And you lift your foot and go to step forward, almost preparing for this weird distortional feeling and jaunt. And you step forward and you're standing at the next set of doors. You turn around and look, and your party is standing there a step behind you.
What did you two do in those rooms?
What do you mean? What did we do? We searched them, just like the other doors.
Something happened. So you can still hear me. I'm one step away rather than hundreds of feet away.
I don't think it had anything to do with what we did in those rooms. I just think it's the nature of this cathedral. I could be
just
wrong.
put this thing on.
Take your hat off, Mike. Or no, Teef. Now run down the hall.
Run down the hall. I'll take it off.
Who's running down the hallway?
I told Teef to,
Oh,
because he put a damn helmet on, and all of a sudden things are wonky again in the wrong way.
I'll take it off, put it down, and run down the hall.
And you guys see him. What's your speed, Teef? You're muted.
Like 30 feet.
You're muted. And you guys see him take
30
off.
feet.
And he runs 30 feet down the hallway and stops. And he's 2 doors in front of you.
So Bob picks up the leather and puts it on his head and starts walking towards Teef.
And you walk your normal pace, and 30 feet later, you're standing next to Teef. And you turn around and look behind you, and your party's standing 30 feet behind you.
I'm gonna check one of these doors. Nug, check your journal and see if any mention of this hallway is in there.
Okay.
The only thing different
Pick it
that
up,
we've
flip
done
through it.
is the rooms.
Do I need a check to flip through this journal?
No, you can flip through it. You read common.
Okay.
This is the account of Nikarin, an acolyte and soon-to-be cleric of Lathander here in the cathedral. It tells of his days as an under-priest and the progression of his faith as he approaches the day that he gets bestowed full priesthood.
Okay.
I assume you're just skimming this thing and not trying to read every word of it.
Right. I'm looking for important terms. Dave asked me to look for any mention of this hallway or cathedral.
So you see the cathedral mentioned a couple of times in the first few pages, but the references of it are vague. Things of this cathedral is a masterpiece of Lathander, and his grace and will flows through every stone. And then a few pages later, you see another reference to it of the creation of this cathedral was a joint union between Lathander and the priests that gave part of their life force to build. But other than that, you don't see anything specifically referencing any specific hallway or any specific room of the cathedral.
Okay. Nope.
You flip through, you get about halfway through the amount of pages that are in the book, and the writing stops. One day, there's an account of him as he's a fortnight out from the ceremony where he's named a full priest. And then the next day, there's no journal entry.
Okay. So I'm gonna flip through the rest of the book. Is there any like drawings or anything, or is it just?
It's blank pages until the back cover.
Okay. Is there a date on that last entry?
Yeah, it's hundreds of years ago.
Okay. Any other?
Probably roughly about 300 years ago.
Okay. All right. Well, something happened. Either, he left his clothes, he left his journal. Whether it happened here in this cathedral or somewhere else, I don't know. But yeah. So come back out into the hallway, relay that information. Or no, I was already in the hallway. My bad.
Dave would just nod and then proceed to open this left door and try to look in the next set of doors just to see what's going on here.
And you hit the handle on it and you feel it click open, but you have to throw your shoulder into it to get it to open. It feels like the wood is stuck in the jam. But after a heavy brush up against it, the door swings wide and you see an exact copy of the previous room on the left with 4 beds and a couple of foot lockers and a couple of wardrobes. It appears to be another set of quarters.
I'll just call that back to the party. Do we want to search these foot lockers as well for
Might as well.
more helmets?
Yeah, man, we're here.
I guess Dave will enter and start trying to check foot lockers then.
Neither
Find
one
the
of
shoes
them
you're looking for.
have a lock on them. You lift the lids on both of them and you can see various small articles of clothing and trinkets that probably were owned by the priests and the under priests that resided here in the chapel. Nothing seems to stand out of any exceptional quality or anything of that nature.
Does this place look like old and dusty and cobwebbed, or does it look like it's...
Not at all. Everything is immaculately clean. The dates that you've seen on everything, and from what Bob and Grom had said about the history that they could garner from this chapel disappeared hundreds of years ago, but it looks like somebody made these beds fresh this morning. There's no dust on anything. The food in the store in the food locker was still fresh.
Pretty much every room's looked like that, right? Like all that we've been in has looked clean like
Correct.
that.
Correct.
Dave's gonna take this stuff and like toss it, kind of out of the foot lockers, like one would if they were digging through the foot lockers. Kind of
Like
mess the bed up.
ransack it.
Yeah, throw a pillow and a couple blankets on the floor or whatever. Step out into the hallway, shut the door, and just stand there with his hand on the handle for a couple minutes, and then open the door back up and look back inside.
And the room's immaculate. Everything's back in its place. The foot lockers are closed again. The beds are made.
Something's definitely wrong.
I mean, Why don't you do that again and take something out of the room? See if it appears in the room again.
We could just shut the door of the room they've both removed stuff from.
Yeah, we did leave the
That's
doors
a good
open.
idea, Zach. Let's see if that circlet disappears. I'll go ahead and shut
So,
the door
Grom,
since I'm right
you
there.
step back and pull both doors closed. And Bob, you're actually wearing the leather band right now, and you see Grom step back and pull both doors closed, and everybody looks at you, and you reach up, and the leather band is still there.
Oh,
So how about we open the door that Mikey got the circlet from, and make sure if everything that we misplaced in the room while he was searching it, if everything is back the way that it was, because the rooms probably it's probably an old way that they used to build the cathedrals, is that they would just enchant the rooms to constantly keep themselves clean, and just to have acolytes clean rooms, just because.
And you pop that left door back open, Grom, and the room is freshly made. You step into the room and hurry up and go to lift that lid on the footlocker on the left, the one that Teef went in and picked the lock on. And you can see that there's no lock on the footlocker, and you lift the lid up and there's nothing inside of it.
that's disappointing. I thought we could get free stuff.
Nothing.
I
It's
want
a
my
leather
leather
band
band.
machine.
It makes rubber bands. All right, on that note, guys, we're going to take a
that
quick
leather
10-minute break.
to
Everybody go ahead and go do your bio break and all that stuff. I'm going to go put my chickens up, and then we'll reconvene back here in 10.
mean you weren't already ready?
All right, we're back. Well, I was busy trying to figure out why y'all couldn't hear me, and I forgot I double muted myself.
Oh boy.
Yield double mute for the win.
Yep.
So you open this door back up. The room's immaculately made again, but the items still remain in the possession of Bob and Nug. Bob, give me a wisdom saving throw with advantage, please.
My advantage is an 18.
So the door opens up again after you tell Grom to close and reopen that door. And you reach up and you feel this leather band around your head. And as you pull your hands down, you see that ring on your hand glow with a soft yellow light. And you feel that warmth emanate down your arm. And then you're immediately pulled into a scene in your mind where, from your perspective, you're the speaker and you're speaking to a group of 8 other individuals, some of them elves, some of them men, one of them a dwarf, all wearing robes of priests of Lathander, and you're explaining the layers of rituals that you're going to lay together to form this cathedral that you've seen in your visions that Lathander has required of you, his faithful. And it plays out for a few minutes, just you going through details of these magical rituals that are going to have to be cast over and over again by the 10 of you combined, you and the 9 other priests that you're standing there talking to. And it plays through for a few minutes, and then you feel yourself wash back into reality here in this tunnel with your companions. To you, it only feels like a few seconds, but to the rest of you, you all see Bob go perfectly still for probably about 3 minutes. He's still breathing, but he doesn't move and he doesn't respond to anyone speaking to him.
So was I able to discern in these visions, like what the level of, you know, casting or whatever it was that we were doing, that we were laying spells of the nature I described a few minutes ago?
You know from that specific memory that you and these 9 other priests were all extremely high level priests in service to Lathander for many years by the time that you came upon casting these rituals for this cathedral. And one of the rituals you laid into this was the ability to house any acolyte or under priest in the service to Lathander at any time. So this cathedral could house as little as 1 servant of Lathander, or if the need arose and the servants arrived there, it could house 10,000 servants of Lathander if need be. And through this memory and your studies serving the Tempest, you know that this is some sort of extra dimensional space that had to have been laid into the foundation of this cathedral. And the keynote to it is, being a servant of Lathander, you will always have space here in this cathedral.
Okay. So when I come to my senses, and I kind of shake it off a little bit, and everybody's kind of looking at me, and I go, the ring has showed me some visions of the creation of this cathedral, and I'm going to relay all of that information out about extra dimensional spaces, and kind of try to connect some dots in my head that maybe if we try to run through the hallway and how we blipped out. Maybe that's how we get further down the tunnel. So if we keep walking, we just seen identical barracks rooms. So maybe if we force ourselves to go forward more fastly and we jump out, maybe the rooms will be different. And I, of course, volunteer to test that theory since it's my theory. After I hand Teef back his little handkerchief,
It's a leather circlet.
leather circlet.
You sure it's not a collar?
Could be.
It
Now
could
I
be.
am the master.
Looks like a belt to me.
Looks like
He's
a
got it on
series
his
to
head,
me.
so it is what it is.
So I'm gonna throw Teef that circlet, and then I'm gonna turn around and go to run down the hallway like I have before. And
And you lead off from your lead foot. And you go running down the hallway. It doesn't feel any different to you than it did the first time you ran off. And you go 4 or 5 steps. You look back over your shoulder, expecting to see your companions way back in the distance. And they're about 40 feet behind you.
okay. So we must have done something to. We must be inside the extra dimensional space still.
We might
Do I-
have to start from the beginning of the hallway in order to get it to do that. So
That's
where
true.
the
Do I
door-
do I still see any kind of burning embers down the hallway where my torch would have landed from before? Or they
So
probably burned out a while ago.
So you went down and picked your torch back up.
Yeah. But you said that when it hit the ground it splattered everywhere.
Yeah, it just threw sparks off of it from the impact of it hitting the ground.
Alright. That's right, because
Yeah.
that time it didn't go as far as it did before.
But on that instinct, you turn around and look back down the hallway to what you think is going to be your internal frustration of just seeing more hallway extending down, and just at the limits of your dark vision you can see that the end of the hallway walls off into one large archway door that's about 15 feet in diameter. And the difference between it is this door is made out of some type of metal. And that's the only reason you can see it, is because it's caught a little bit of the glint off of your torch.
I'm going to say, hey. Well, I'm 40 feet away
You're-
from them.
Okay, that's what that was going to be my question.
Everybody
So-
give me a perception roll.
How far from him is this door?
At least 60 feet.
Okay, so 100 feet from us.
Yeah.
12 for Dave.
I got an
Nat.
8.
That's my nat 20.
I got an 8.
So 23 total.
I got 17.
No big deal.
Teef,
Teef and Bob both had 8s.
So Teef and Bob, you guys don't recognize it as any more than the tremor that you felt before, because you're actually so much further down this hallway. Nug, you're actually right at the back, right with Grom. You were standing in between that first and second set of doors when Grom pulled both doors closed again to check to see if the magic would reactivate. So you actually get a visual whereas everybody else just kind of hears this loud eruption of stone. This just sounds like almost like an avalanche, almost like a cave in. And you snap your head around and look back down the hallway and out the door into the cathedral, and across the cathedral where that room that held the chest was, you can see this large stone form rip its way out of the antechamber that the chest was in and stretch up into the cathedral itself. And most of it is blocked by the doorway of view. But from what you can see a large pair of stone legs standing in the room, and you hear this sound of just rocks grinding.
Did you guys?
Everybody, go ahead and roll me initiative.
Did you see that?
Uh, 15.
16.
11.
18.
I got a 7.
Dave, did you take into account the fact that you have advantage on initiative rolls now?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna cash in on that as much as possible.
I know it's one of your new abilities, so
yeah.
All
I
right.
rolled a 14 the first time, or I rolled a 12 the first time, and then a 14. So got a little better with initiative.
So the order of operations is going to go Nug, Dave, Grom, me, Bob, and Teeth. So Nug, you're the first to act. You see this. One of these legs looks like if you were standing up next to it, that it'd be probably close to the size of you.
Okay. And they're still obscured by the door frame. They're in this room or whatever.
Right. You can see these two legs standing up, but you can't see much else because of the door frame.
Is there anything like? Is there debris falling around him? Like, is this thing breaking the ceiling or?
No, like you can see the wall behind it is all torn up from him coming out the doorway, but it doesn't appear to be like smashing up the walls or the ceiling or anything.
And how far from me is this?
He's probably a good 80 feet.
Okay.
You know, because it was 60 across the door, across the chapel floor, and you guys are probably 20, 25 feet down this hallway.
Okay. Oh shit. I am going to dash up there, and I'm going to. Is it still well lit? Are there torches around, or is it all shadows?
The chapel still glows with that soft blue light of the stone itself, and you get a little bit of yellow tint from the glass dome on top of it. So it's like the equivalent of being in low light.
Okay. Is there anything else I can glean from now that I'm closer to it?
So you come all the way out the doorway into the chapel proper.
Yeah, I want to take cover behind something so I can check this thing out.
Well, the closest thing you have to that door that you guys were blocking against the zombies and stuff are a bunch of pews and stuff you guys pulled and drug over there when you barricaded yourselves in for the night so you could duck down. But as you come running through the room to come to sliding down behind this pew, you get your first glimpse of this thing, and you thought the sheer size of it alone was enough to take you aback when you saw the legs of it. But as you come through the door, you see the torso go up, and then it opens up into 4 wide arms that each bear these long stone swords in their hands, and then comes up through the neck into this big helmeted face.
Okay.
And you slide down next to the pew, taking cover behind it.
Okay. Okay. So that dash. All right. So I dashed. That was. I'm gonna actually spend a key point for that dash, so it's a bonus action, and then I'm going to. I'm gonna drop into my shell as my regular action, and
Okay.
then that'll be the end of my turn for right now.
All right. That brings us to you, Dave. You hear this grinding, rumbling sound coming from back down the hallway, and you see Nug just take off wide and go running back out into the chapel. You can see these large stone legs through the doorway across the chapel floor.
All I can see is the legs, right? Like, that's how big this thing
Correct.
is?
Correct.
God, this is so against Dave's nature, but I feel like he's smart enough to know that we shouldn't be fighting this thing. Yeah, he's going to can we see that door from where we're at or no?
You can see the reflection of, you can see Bob's torch that he's holding, and then further past him down in the distance at the very limits of your vision, you can see a reflection of that torch on something. Metal, water, you're not sure.
I'm going to shout to Bob. What do you see?
I think it's a big metal door, and it's a pretty large door.
Dave's
So
going to
it looks better than what I see your way.
start running that direction. I have 40 feet, so if need be, I'm assuming I'll have to dash and be able to get 80 feet.
Yeah, and that'll bring you up just shy of the door.
Okay, I'm just gonna get as close to the door as I can. I guess weapon out, ready just in case, but I'm gonna be running for that door.
As you get up close to it, you can see that this is, in fact, a large metal door. It's about 15 feet in diameter, and the hallway actually ends at this door. And from what you can see, now that you're 20 feet away with a torch in one hand and your weapon in the other, you can see that this door is elaborately engraven and detailed even from this distance. Grom, you turn around, you hear this rumbling, grinding eruption of stone. Nug takes off running back into the cathedral. You can see these two large stone legs in the middle of the cathedral floor out in the distance. Dave, who was standing by just a moment ago, yells to Bob and then takes off running in the opposite direction further down the hallway. What would you like to do?
I guess I'll yell coward at Dave and run towards the cathedral to try and
All right, what's your
protect Nug.
movement speed?
If I'm standing next to Bob, it's 40.
I'm 40 feet away from everybody.
Well, it's 30 then.
Yeah, the only one that's near Bob right now, well, actually, Dave just ran straight past Bob. But Teef was only a few feet away from Bob. Him and Teef were standing together. So you can take a double move if you want. You can,
I'm gonna move and hold my attack, I guess.
So
I'll
with
dodge.
your,
I'll dodge. That's
you
what
got 35 feet of movement, right?
I have 30.
Okay, so 30 feet will get you from where you're standing to just inside the cathedral door again, and you'll get that same visual image that Nug got of this giant four-armed, four-sworded full-faced, helmed, giant stone man standing about 55 feet or so across the chapel floor from you.
Great.
You're just going to take your dodge there?
Yeah, I'll dodge.
Okay. And that is actually going to bring us to it. And it turns and looks over at the doorway, seeing Grom standing there, and you hear this grinding sound as it begins lurching across the floor, makes its way over, raises all four swords up, and it's going to make its attack action against you.
Better have some footwork ready.
You took your dodge action. What is your effective AC, Grom? Grom,
Oh, what's up? Sorry.
what's your effective AC?
20.
So only one of them's going to hit. You're going to take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as the third one in this rapid succession of giant stone swords slam down. Actually, the other three of them cascade into the wall of the hallway you just came out of, breaking chunks off of the stone lintel above the door. And the one comes down crashing hard against you on your side, pretty much just hitting you and pushing you off to the side. And you feel one of your ribs as your breath gets a little bit tighter from the impact of this thing. And it's going to rear back up again, and you hear that grinding sound all over again. And that brings us to Bob. You hear a mass ruckus happening back down the hallway. Stone chips flying in the doorway in the distance. Bob or Dave has just run past you towards this large metallic door that you see off in the distance. As you begin to process these things that are happening in rapid succession around you, you feel that warmth on your hand emanate from the ring, and you hear almost as if somebody was standing next to you on the opposite side of you as teeth, and you hear a whispered word, Guardian.
All right, so there's a guardian. There's always a guardian. So I hear that, and maybe I will kind of try to keep that warmth feeling, magic feeling in my hand summoned, and I'm gonna just yell out, Guardian, stop! Even though I don't have a command spell.
Okay.
Probably not shit.
So you feel that warmth in your hand from the ring, and you hear the whisper. You just, out of sheer instinct, you stick that hand with the ring out, and you're like, Guardian, stop!
Using every ounce of divine energy I can muster.
And nothing happens.
Oh, right. Well, then, I just saw Grom get hit real good. Dave ran towards the door. So I'm gonna kind of run back towards my homie who just got hit with a sword.
Okay. What's your movement speed?
My movement speed is 40.
All right, you're about 65 feet down this hallway, so you could double move if you wanted to, or take a dash action, or just run the 40 feet. That's up to you.
I'm gonna run the 40 feet, and I'm gonna cast a guiding bolt at the creature.
Okay.
So I will run 40 feet, and I will make a ranged spell attack. Ooh, that's a nice rolly. 22.
That hits.
And where is it? 4d6 radiant. Eight, 13 damage. And the next attack on that creature has advantage.
Okay. So, Grom, this thing is standing in front of you. It's drawing its forearms back up after its attack at you. And you see this blast of divine energy come racing past you. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck and on your forearms stand up underneath your armor as the energy blasts past you and strikes this thing in the upper thigh of its left leg. And you see it spread throughout this thing. And as you look up, watching the flow of energy rise up this thing, you see it coalesce in the torso of it and then disperse out. And you can see almost a faint razory line edge all four of the swords it's holding. Bob, you blast off this burst of energy. You feel Tempest's wrath in your hand. As it leaves your hand, you hear a whispered voice in the space right next to your head as it says, "The divine recharge."
So after hearing that, do I happen to notice the thin golden line of energy, or do I notice that the energy kind of almost looks like it embodies and absorbs the spell? Do I notice that?
You actually see the swell of energy go wafting through it, and it just kind of coalesces into this form. You don't see the normal reaction that you get or that you'd expect when you blast something with Tempest's wrath, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna yell out, um, crap, or an equivalent to back then. Crap! The divine energy recharges the damned thing. And
Yourself a point of inspiration
yes.
for understanding the flow of divine energy enough to realize that, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect you guys to figure that out until at least a couple rounds in.
Well, you know, Tempest is the god of war.
So kudos to you.
Woo.
All right. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Bob?
I'm just going to act like I'm about to start running towards it even faster.
All right. Teeth, you're up.
Can I see that engraved door from where I'm at?
You can just see, well, now you can see a lot more of it because Dave is only 20 feet from it, and you can see his torch reflecting off it.
His torch reflecting off it. I'm going to make my way towards that door. That seems like a much better idea than sticking around and fighting that thing. And I'm a well-known coward when it comes to these cowards. So I'm heading towards that door, and I'm going to see if I can't get it open. Huh? 30 feet per round.
Your movement speed, 30 feet.
I think.
It's about 70 or so feet from you.
It's about 7 feet from you. Okay, I'll start making my way there.
Okay. That brings us back to the top of the initiative order with Nug.
You're muted, Nug.
Actually, everyone give me a perception roll, too.
6.
15.
21.
12.
Bob is not perceptive today. I don't understand. Can I just use my passive? It's way higher.
All right, so we had a 15 and a 21, and then a 12 and a 6, and what else?
I thought that was it.
We're missing one. Grom.
Sorry. Let's see. I rolled.
I thought I heard him say 17. I'm not sure.
It's 14.
Oh,
14. Okay,
big
so
difference.
Yeah.
anybody who got under a 15 feels the tremor again. Anybody who got over a 15 feels the tremor again, but they actually feel it bouncing back off of the cathedral ceiling. So you feel the vibration start under your feet, and then it goes up, and you can actually feel the wave of it come back against you from the dome of the cathedral. Nug, you're up.
Okay. So this thing is just standing in front of me.
It's standing about 10 or 12 feet off to one side of you as it recovers from its attack towards Grom.
Okay.
You can see this thin line of gold energy along each one of its swords.
Okay. I'm gonna look towards. Is there a point where it emerged out of?
You can
Or
see
did
that room, that alcove room where the chest was, there were, it was just a small 10 by 10 room, and there were some pegs where some cloaks had hung on the wall, and, just some odds and ends inside that room. Well, that room is completely empty. You don't see anything in it, but it looks like the mouth of a cave because of the way it ripped itself out through the doorway.
Okay, but I'm looking for a point of origin of the creature itself.
You can't see any.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pop back out of my shell, and I'm actually gonna head back out the doorway, down to the direction near everybody else, until we can find out more about what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna hold there.
Okay, so
take out my shield and hold the defensive stance just for now.
So you pop out your shell, get up, truck back down. You've got what, 40 feet of movement? You said
45 now since I leveled.
So you could technically make it about 20 feet inside that doorway. So like right back to that first set of doors in the hallway.
Okay.
So you come blazing through there, you slide by, turning yourself to be able to duck past Grom in the doorway, and you dip around Bob as you come to a halt right behind him. Pull your shield off of your back and sling it down onto your arm. That brings us to Dave. You are standing 20 feet away from this large metal door, this elaborately engraved metallic door that's set into the stone at the dead end of this hallway. You can hear a loud commotion going on back down the way you came. And you can see Teef running towards you.
I'm just concentrating on trying to get to this door, seeing if I can find out, like, if there's a mechanism to open it or what opens it, how to possibly get through it.
And you clear the last 20 feet of distance up to the door. You come to a stop holding your torch there, and you get a detailed picture of this doorway. It's actually two large metal doors that open inward. You can see a seam running right down the center of it. And on the two panels, it has engraved depictions of scenes of Lathander's preachings and teachings. And you can see that right in the middle of the door, probably at like the 6 foot height, you can see these two golden doorknobs that are in the shape of smiling sunbursts that line up perfectly next to each other with the seam running in between them.
I want to Aragorn those doors if possible.
All right. What is your alignment?
Neutral? Yeah.
True neutral?
Yeah.
And you, with the torch still in your hand, you reach out and go to shove on these doors, and you can feel the latch that's holding them at the door handle mechanism, and you grab the two suns and twist and shove, and the doors begin to creak open, and you see a big wide stone spiral staircase that starts going up probably 10 or 15 stairs and then curves to the left out of your view.
That thing's likely going to keep following us. I'm not sure if we should be fighting it. I know, strange, but I found some stairs. Do we go up? Do we stand and fight?
I mean, have we
I don't
we haven't even
really-
tried to fight it?
I mean, I'm like 100 feet away from you, so I can't hear you.
You could hear him shouting down the corridor at you.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's definitely not just.
Oh,
he's not being
calmly
quiet.
shouting. 10-4.
I feel like if Dave's turning tail, then you know.
Well,
This
me
is
and
the thing. Did you share the fact that you yelled that the divine energy recharges it, right?
yes.
Anybody got any necrotic energy around here? Maybe we
If
can
they did, I
use
would have killed them a long time ago. All right.
Let's put that horse to bed right now.
Yeah, right now. If we did, we don't anymore. So
no zombie remains lying around with a little bit of necrotic energy. Can we throw zombies at this thing?
you're gonna throw scraps of cloth at this thing?
Hey man.
Necro cloth. Well, I feel that this is the guardian of the cathedral itself. There's a connection to it through this ring, through the stone. In Bob's mind, he's not going to be able to do too much damage to this thing because all of his attacks are going to heal the damn thing. Bob's not necessarily scared, but he has a new respect for it, and he's thinking about running towards the door.
My immediate question is why would a guardian of this magnitude be required to protect this cathedral?
Because it's Lathander's creation, bro.
I feel like
You
there's
stole
something
the
more.
treasure chest.
Protection from evil.
I feel
We
like there's
triggered something. Probably me, but I'm not going to say that.
All right.
But just Indiana Jones the crap out of this temple. The Temple of Doom. This is the last crusade.
It belongs in a museum. Indiana
Right.
was the dog's name.
You were named after the dog?
Okay, so you're just yelling. Okay, it's still Dave's turn, right? We're just
Correct.
having a discussion here in the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just screaming at each other down the hallway
Yeah, talk.
while Grom's getting his ass beat by a giant four-armed sworded monster.
Well, no, I like to envision that they're stuck in action, but we're all allowed to talk still.
I mean, Dave's just kind
So
of standing there, like, seen in Lord of the Rings after pushing the door open, kind of turned and yelled this back at y'all. It's just like waiting for a response, and y'all are just, having a cup of tea and having a conversation, whatever, looking for zombies.
That actually brings us to Grom. You hear Dave shout out down this hallway that he found a flight of stairs. You hear Bob yell back that maybe you guys shouldn't fight this thing. And this thing rears back up in front of you with its four swords. What would you like to do?
I would like to cast Hunter's Mark on it.
All right.
And I will.
Does it need to make a save or anything for it?
I'm pretty sure it just gets Hunter's Marked. Let me see. I don't think there's any sort of save or anything. It just gives me bonus damage if I hit it.
Cool. You actually have advantage still from Bob's guiding bolt.
Yeah.
Or
So
next
until the spell ends, I deal an extra d6 with a weapon attack, and you have advantage on any wisdom or perception or survival make to find it. Yeah. And if I kill the monster, I can move the mark for free. So no save or anything.
Cool.
So
He's not
here we go.
particularly good at them anyway, so.
All right. First.
So is that a bonus action to cast
Yeah, it's a
that?
bonus action.
Trip. Cool.
And on my
action
first
to
roll.
move.
Well, yeah, I'll move to it so I can attack it. I assume I'm within range if it can attack.
Oh yeah,
me.
he's right in front of you for sure.
Yeah. I rolled a nat 20. So
don't forget to smite.
No, I'm not going to smite because that'll heal it. So roll. Let's see, 4d.
Somebody break out the necro sword for that smite.
Where's that zombie's leg bone?
You guys do still have gear that you've won and accumulated since you got back into the mountain.
So my first hit.
Whatever you guys bought.
My first hit's 31 damage.
Ooh.
I'll attack again with a 25. And well, that's not right. 10 plus 5, 15 damage. So 46 total on one turn.
All right.
You're a monster.
Yeah.
And you swing out with your great sword, slashing across at this thing just below its chest at like its abdomen level, and you see a chunk of stone go flying off and come back cutting across at the inside of its right leg, and you see a line of a furrow dug into the stone as your blade slices across.
That's my turn. I'm out of gas for now.
All right.
Sure wish
That
my
was-
homies were helping me, goddamn.
Hey, I'm only a few feet away.
All right. So, numero uno is this thing's going to make its attack action again at you, Landon, and try to pulverize you into the doorway.
Blame him.
1, 2, double fives. That's great. Oh, but that's a nat 20 and an 8. So you're going to get hit with one.
What, it just has advantage against me?
No, it's got 4
okay.
attacks against you.
Yeah, because you rolled 2 5s and then a 20 and an 8. I was like, why is it getting advantage?
Right. No, it's got 4 attacks on you.
Because it can sense your divine ass.
Because it's friggin' huge.
But you actually got really lucky and it only rolled 1s and 2s on its damage die, so you're actually only going to take 9 points of bludgeoning damage from it.
Ain't
Nice.
luck, brother.
And that's its turn as it raises back up again, trying to get ready to smash down on you again. And at this moment, Dave, I'm going to need you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
$14.
That is not enough, sir. You are going to feel just a mental fog wash over your body. Teeth, you're the only one even remotely within range of Dave. And you're going to see him fling these doors open and then come standing upright to almost a rigid posture. And then he turns around 180 in the doorway facing you, torch in one hand. Are you wielding your axe or your trident right now, Dave?
Trident.
Trident in the other, and he turns around to where he's facing you down this hallway, and you just hear this bloodlusting battle roar emanate from deep within his chest. And in the silhouette behind him, from the shadows of this torch, you can see gliding down the hallway or down the flight of steps into view the billowing robes and the octopus-headed silhouette of a very familiar figure. And you hear that itching tingle in the back of your mind. Let me show you the mystic arts, son. As you feel the psionic energy wash over the room. All right, and that brings us to you, Teef. What would you like to do?
Did I say I killed this thing or killed the party?
I'm going to use my telepathy to speak to this new voice and ask it who it is. Like, what
And
is
you
your
feel
name?
that mental link open up. You feel that mental link open up. You're just in awe by the depth of power. In awe by the depth of power. I am the teacher, and you are the
Can you
student.
show
I am
me
the
how to
teacher, and you are the student.
And you can teach me this kind of power?
It is within my power. It is within my power.
What do I have to do?
Slay the good ones. Slay the good ones. Convert who can be converted. Convert who can be converted.
So I'll turn around where I'm at in the hallway. I'll start heading towards the battle. And
Down
on my way,
towards the golem and
telepathy.
down towards the golem and
Yeah,
okay.
and I'll use my telepathy to tell the voice, I will join you.
Good. Good. Anything else you want to do on your turn? Anything else you want to do on your turn?
No, I think I'm going to keep all this to myself. As
Okay.
as a character, I don't think I'll say anything.
Traitor!
And
Okay, because ain't nobody good over here, dog. Like, Tempest ain't a good god.
oh, actually, I put you and Bob out of order in rotation. So Bob, it's actually on you.
All right. Well,
You see Grom just engaged in this melee of giant swords, and him lashing out back at him. You hear this bloodlust roar of Dave's behind you after he just yelled that he found a flight of stairs. And you see Nug come skirting past you out of the cathedral back into the hallway.
all right. So I just assumed since Dave ran away from the battle and then screamed that he's just really scared. So I'm going to continue my ascent into, the history books over here. And I'm going to, you said I'm like 35, 40 feet away from this thing.
Yeah,
I
you're
can
like
make
30
enough
feet because
movement.
you're like 20 feet out from the cathedral itself, and it's right there outside the door battling with Grom.
Okay. I mean, it obviously knows that I'm there, so I can't really flank the bastard. But I'm gonna try to run as behind it as I can within my one movement action, and
Okay.
I'm just going to actually while I'm moving, um, I think I'm going to cast magic weapon and give myself a little bonus and make my weapon magical. It's a
Okay.
bonus action. And it's just a +1.
Cool.
So
That's a good bonus action.
yeah. So I'm gonna run up on this thing and I'm going to attack um with a 19.
A 19 will hit.
That's a 6 for 14 damage. And my
Okay.
second attack is a 22 for 16 damage.
Okay. And you slash across with your long sword, and you see two more furrows in the stone open up in this thing's left leg.
Um
Looks almost like if you drug a pickaxe nose across the stone.
what while I'm actually coming into contact with this thing with my sword, do I get any kind of feeling from that ring as I make contact with this guardian?
No, you don't.
Okay. All right. Then that ends my turn.
All right, and that brings us back to the top of the initiative order with Nug. So, Nug, you dash back into the hallway, coming in, trying to get out of the way of this giant golem, and you see Bob dash past you into the fray, and you can see coming down the hallway towards you is Teeth at a steady pace, and you can see Dave way down at the other end of this hallway, standing in front of these two giant open silver doors that are reflecting his torchlight around him.
Okay. Okay. So there's the hallway's still all lit up, right? What's the distance between me and Dave?
Probably about 100 feet, maybe 125.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna head back that way. The hallway's all lit up, right? There's no like shadows for me to, you know.
It glows with that same soft, low light quality
Right.
that the stone in the chapel does, and Dave has this torch down at the other end illuminating it as well.
Okay. Is that considered dim light or?
Yeah, it'd be like the equivalent of low light.
Okay.
Are you just moving your 40-foot distance?
Well, this is the thing. I'm thinking about moving my 45-foot distance and then using shadow step to jump the rest.
You're actually within 5 feet of Bob when you started your turn, so you get the movement bonus from him. And you were about 15, 20 feet into this hallway, so you've actually got about 85 or 90 feet till you reach Dave and the doorway.
Okay, so I'm just gonna dash. Just gonna double move and dash back to Dave. Yeah. And I'm just basically I'm gonna tell him that I agree with him that we shouldn't be fighting this thing. It doesn't seem like our efforts are really doing much. Yeah. So I'm just gonna hang back here for right now. I'll draw a weapon and take a defensive stance again until I see further action that warrants otherwise.
All right, so you take off charging down this hallway. Teeth.
Just running back and forth.
He goes to come running past you. What are you going to do?
As he's running past me, I am going to use an attack of opportunity and kind of shoot him with my little wrist, what do you call it?
Hand crossbow.
Wrist rocket.
Crossbow. Yeah.
You're
All
not
right,
going
go
to
ahead
jump
and
to
make
the
your
second story
attack roll.
balcony first and hide?
Now my question is, since I have a weapon of warning, can I be surprised by that attack?
No, you're actually going to see it as you're running up toward him. He's going to draw his arm up like this and fire off it.
Can I use a reaction to drop inside my shell?
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
Wait, Teef is attacking Nug?
Yeah, Teef decided to turn traitor.
Okay.
So,
All right, Teef, what's your attack roll?
I actually rolled a 2, which would give me a 5.
So you fire off this wrist crossbow,
Actually,
and it smacks off of the shell of Nug and goes clattering off down the hallway as Nug drops himself inside of his shell and actually comes skidding into you. I need you to make a reflex saving throw.
Do.
21.
And you're just barely agile enough to kick off the wall and kind of jump over him as he skids by. You come down on one knee, like superhero pose, as he skids past you.
He's gonna need an ice pack. That's real hard on the knees.
Nug, anything else you want to do on your turn now that your direct approach has changed?
Okay.
You still have some movement left. You used your reaction to drop inside of your shell, and I believe you used a bonus action. Are you spending the key point to make it a bonus action to dash?
Yeah, I'll do that, and then I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm not going to use the key point for the bonus action to dash because I'm going to use that bonus action to pop back out of the shell
Okay.
and just take a defensive stance with my shield, just in case anything else
Perfect.
comes at me.
Dave, I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw, sir.
I don't think a 9's gonna do it.
I'm
Don't
sorry,
you have
it's not.
inspiration, bro?
I mean, I do.
I mean, I feel you wanting to save it. I mean, I'm just saying. Because I got one too, and I'm like, oh god, what am I going to use it for? Oh god.
I'm like, wouldn't this be exciting for Dave to try to make turtle on a trident? But
Yeah, but you're not being
Yeah, so
related yet.
that's a 6
no,
with my
you're
inspiration.
about 30 feet, 40 feet. That's a 6?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, Nug, you're about 40 feet or so still down this tunnel when you get engaged by Teeth as you thought you were going to run by. And you see, actually, Dave, you hear this bubbly, watery, whispered voice say, "Kill them, my son." And anybody who would be looking in his direction sees Dave raise this trident and point down the hallway. And you're actually going to discharge that trident, Dave. So go ahead and roll the attack and damage for that 60-foot line of lightning.
So did it renew? Or is there some kind of magical thing renewing it? Because I did use it in the fight against the thing last session.
Right,
the
but you
zombies.
guys took a long rest.
Gotcha.
So it could have been a time thing that you don't know of, or it could have been a certain time of day that it renewed. You're not quite sure the functionality of this thing fully yet.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I used it before we went ahead and used it again to kill the party and end the campaign.
Your puny 60-foot can't touch me.
Well, my dice are back to hating me. That's an 18.
All right,
That's not
Nug or Teeth, does an 18 hit you? Nug, you have your shield
18?
equipped right now.
Yeah. So no, it doesn't. Wait, it's exactly at 18.
So
It
that
beats
Do
it.
I add anything for that? Like, because I
Yeah,
rolled an 18. I can't
oh
find
yeah,
the.
you would roll just your regular attack bonus.
Oh well.
And you're proficient in martial weapons, so
If I'm adding
you're
my attack to
proficient
that,
in-
then it's a 25.
yeah. So that actually hits both of you. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
game changer, bro. I need to make this Gollum my friend with this ring. Like, hey, come on.
Well, you better do it fast.
Some dumbass ghost keeps saying, oh, it's a guardian. Like, I don't fucking know that.
What do you know what the damage is for the lightning part of it?
I'd have to look back at the.
I can't find where I wrote that down. And I can't remember which chat you sent it to me in.
Let me see. That is going to be 6d6.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because it's a shrunken down version of the lightning bolt spell, which is 100-foot range. This is a 60-foot range, and it loses 2 of the d6 damage. So 66.
Okay, boys. 5, 10, 15, 18, 20, 24.
Let's see.
Um,
Um,
24 on the die.
24 on the
Dice.
die.
All right, boys, 24 lightning damage. If you have any resistance or any evasion or anything like that that comes into play, you can apply it accordingly. But other than that, it's 24 lightning damage. And then, Dave, I need you to give me another wisdom saving throw, please.
I can't spend a key to dodge it, can I?
You cannot. And you used your reaction popping into your shell.
That's no good, sir.
Just wanted to double check. All right. You said how much damage?
24.
Okay.
All right.
That was tough.
So
Still see it.
You hear whispered in that bubbly voice behind your head, Dave, "Guard me, champion." Grom, that brings us to you. You feel the static electricity in the air charge up as you smell the smell of displaced ozone emanating down the hallway behind you. Bob comes sliding into the room beside you, slashing away at this golem, trying to draw some of its attention away from you.
I have a question real quick. When Bob hit the golem, did it react any differently than when I hit it?
No.
Okay, perfect. Then I will attack the golem again.
If you look, he just opened up 2 more, deep lines in the stone of its leg as he ran through, cutting away at it.
What I was wondering is if him activating magic weapon and thus his damage being magical, like pierce some kind of resistance that he had. That's what I was wondering. But okay.
No, you don't see any visible difference in the effect of his blade versus yours.
So I rolled a 21. And my damage is 28. That's a great weapon master, by the way.
All right.
Attack again. And I rolled a 20. Very good.
I love it.
I love it, dude. Hold on.
A nat 20 again?
A nat 20 again.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So 15.
And the turtle ran to the other side of the cathedral. Like, you should have stayed in the safe zone, bro. You got 2 pallets.
35 damage on the crit.
35?
Yeah. Unless great weapon master damage bonus is doubled. It's not,
Yeah,
right?
you double everything. Double everything. You take all your modifiers, add everything together with your roll, and then double the damage.
Oh, okay.
That's the same way a monster will crit you if they hit you.
I forgot about that. Okay, so So 35. No. So I don't roll 6 dice. I just roll the normal and then double the damage, right?
Correct.
Okay. So 15 plus 15. So it's 60 damage then.
So you see, well, really, Bob, you're the only one to see this because everybody else is too far down the hallway.
Scared.
You see Grom swell up with rage after being battered by this golem, and he draws back with his greatsword, swings forward with the first attack, and it hits right at the thigh on the left leg where you just finished drawing your crosscut. And his greatsword comes down and cleaves through the leg completely. And without even breaking swing, he angles the blade upward and comes up through the inside of the right thigh of this golem and cleanly slices through the right leg as well, dropping this torso to the ground next to both of the legs. This thing still has a little bit of life left in it. It can attack you if you are within 10 feet of it, which both of you are right now, but it is effectively immobilized.
Kill it with non-divine magical fire.
Anything else you want to do on your turn, Grom?
No, that's it.
All right. And that brings us to them. You are still within range of it, so it is going to swing 2 of its swords at each one of you. One for Bob and none for Grom. And that's going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage on you, Bob, as one of these swords haphazardly swipes down at an angle at you, bashing your shield arm and driving your arm into your chest.
I did.
And for the other side of this, we are going to you hear, Dave, you're the one who hears it the most clearly, but you hear that bubbly gurgling behind you as the Alhoon rattles off an arcane incantation. And I am going to need okay, so that's going to be so 1, 2, it's going to be all right, so 50-50, that's going to be Nug, actually. So this thing gurgles off some odd dialect sounds, and you see these 2 beams of red energy lash out over Dave's shoulders and come arcing down the hallway. And Teef, you just happen to be coming down in your landing from jumping over Nug. So the one glances off the wall right next to you, but the other one smashes into you, Nug, as you're popping back out of your shell. And you take 8 points of fire damage as this ray of raw hot energy just lashes into your arm as you're going to stand up again.
Damn. Son of a bitch.
And it's going to start gurgling again and lean forward over Dave's left shoulder to where its tentacles are basically like draping down next to Dave's chest. and a concussive blast of energy comes wafting out down the hallway, and both you and Teeth need to make intelligence saving throws.
Alrighty. Intelligence
So
is
Dave's
my
a fan of
dubs.
hentai. Tentacles.
13.
22.
Nug, you're good. Teeth, you take 22 points of psychic damage and you're stunned. And that brings us back to the top of the initiative order with Nug.
Okay. So it's obvious to me that this Alhoun is controlling Dave, right? What's my
Pretty
distance
clearly.
from Dave and my distance? And what's my distance from Dave and is it Teef?
Yes, Teeth is about 6-7 feet away from you. He just shot at you and you slid underneath him and he jumped over you. And Dave is probably about 40 feet away from you.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'm going to attack Teef, but I'm going to attempt a stunning strike. I'm not trying to hurt him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, give me a perception roll.
Okay. 15.
You can actually see a glazed, glossy look in his eyes that you recognize from being on Bob's face from almost all of the previous fight.
Okay. Yeah. So that basically
If
tells
that
me
influences your decision in any way, shape, or form.
right. Well, yeah. I'm just. Yeah, but I still don't want to friggin' hurt a party member. I don't know.
Well, the Alhoun is right there with Dave. It's actually leaning over his shoulder. It just launched a mind blast.
I thought it was like way behind him, and these tentacles were like long as hell.
No, it's come down the stairs at this point, and it's like standing right behind him, and it's leaning over him, blasting energy down the hallway.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna make. I'm gonna. Okay. Let's see. Hang on. Let me check the duration on something real quick. Okay, and you said the Alhoun is how far from me?
About 40 feet, same as Dave.
Okay. I don't really have. So since it's dim light to dim light, can I shadow step up there and attack?
Yeah, if you've got the range on your shadow step to make it that far, absolutely. You could use the shadows. Yeah, you could use the shadows cast by Dave and the Alhoun from the torch to shadow step behind the Alhoun if that's what you're trying to do.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yep.
Okay.
And then I get advantage on the first melee attack.
Correct.
Would that also be considered a sneak attack? Do I get the bonus damage?
It absolutely would, yes.
Okay. So I'm also going to spend 2 key points to get the 4 unarmed attacks in between my double attacks. So
Okay.
Okay. So the first attack. Hang on, let me make sure I'm using this right. First attack. Nat 20.
Critsville.
And that's a triple crit because it's my punching dagger.
Nice.
Okay, so damage. So 36 damage total. Oh, that was okay. Well, that was the first attack, right? So.
Yep.
Okay,
Got
so
a triple double.
the second attack, I got a 22.
That hits.
Okay. Seven damage on that. And then 4 unarmed attacks. 23.
Hits.
23.
Hits.
A nat 20.
Crit.
And an 18.
An 18 does not hit.
Okay, so
a crit and 2 regular hits.
okay. Crit is doubled unless otherwise, right? It's an unarmed crit.
Right.
Okay. So 22 on the crit. 8. 11. And that's it, right? Because the third attack didn't hit?
Right. No, you had 3 hits and 1 miss.
Oh, okay.
2 regular hits and a crit.
So 22, 8.
So the first regular hit was 8.
Mm-hmm. 22 was the crit. The first regular hit was 8, and then I got an 11, and then another 11.
So 22 more.
So it's
okay.
44 plus 8, so that's 52.
Nobody else sees this because Dave is the only one in proximity to you, and he's actually facing the other way. This is a new ability to you. This is the first time the key has ever opened up and flowed in this manner through you. And you actually are a little bit jarred by how smooth the transition was from one step to the next. You catch your breath and you're behind this thing, and you just immediately go into the motions. You picture yourself and you're back in the Overlook with that training dummy in the training grounds, and you're just like bam, 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 and you just launch off into this combat routine, one of the most basic ones that you're taught when you start training. So it's like your bread and butter to you. You know, it's like that 1-1-2 combo. You know, everybody knows it. But that first slip of the punching dagger, you feel it rip in up underneath this thing's, what would be its rib cage, through these robes. You feel just the slightest little bit of resistance as you push it in and feel the warmth of this thing's greenish, black, glowing blood flow over your hand. And then you pull it out, you go punch forward again, and it's going to turn, and it stabs into its arm, and it actually blocks it from penetrating its rib cage again. But you see it rip open the robe and the rubbery flesh of this thing, and then you just launch up into this double kick, double punch routine and batter this thing as it's turning, and you can feel your fists hitting its rubbery flesh and impacting deep into this thing's torso. And it lets out this as it turns around and flails out with its tentacles at you and is pushed back, pretty much back to back with Dave. And you can see spots of this bloody ichor staining its robes as it turns and is facing you. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
I don't think I have any other actions. I have a bonus action left. Yeah, I'm just gonna use the bonus action to drop into my shell. For
Isn't the
defense.
bonus action spent on your flurry of blows to do the unarmed strikes?
I thought that was just a key. I could be wrong. Let me
Either way,
double-check.
check it out and get back to me. That brings us to you.
No, you're
Dave.
right. You're right. It is a bonus action for flurry of blows.
Okay.
So I'll just drop back and hold in a defensive stance.
Perfect.
There's not much else.
So
I can
Dave,
do.
I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw with advantage. And Teef, give me another intelligence save while you're at it.
I have joined the Nat 20 Club.
Yes. So you hear this as this thing gets attacked out right behind you. You don't know what's happening because it's happening behind you, but you feel the press of this thing's body being pressed up against you. And instead of it being able to focus part of its mental energy on continuing the domination and continuation of your mind, it actually loses its grip on it, and your will and your rage power through, and you feel yourself gain control of yourself again. This thing is basically pressed against your back right now. Out in front of you down the hallway, you can see Teeth picking himself up off the ground, slightly scorched and shaking his head. And further down the hallway, way out in the distance, you can see what appears to be some sort of combat melee happening in the chapel. What would you like to do with your turn?
Dave is going to menacingly take a step forward, but as he plants that foot and his back foot lifts off the ground, he's going to pivot on the ball of his foot, turning to this thing, giving a shout of true barbarian rage, and try to skewer it and make some calamari.
All right, give yourself advantage on this first attack because you're attacking from behind, and it is engaged in this life or death struggle with Nug.
That'll be a 19 to hit.
A 19 does not hit.
Damn. Give me 1 second. I dropped something.
No worries.
All right. Well, I will take
Drop
my second
all is
attack.
what you drop.
I'll take my second attack, and I will do so recklessly.
All right.
That's a 25 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
All right. That's going to be 13 damage. Oh, wait. It's going to be 13 plus 2, 15 total damage with the trident. And these plains barbarian-looking specters are going to come flooding from Dave's shadow and start flooding around this thing, just swiping at it with different various barbarian weapons, kind of holding it back. They appear to be holding its attacks back. Any attack that he makes, any attack rolls made against anybody that is not me, will have disadvantage due to these specters and spirits. And if he does end up hitting someone other than me, they will have resistance to whatever damage it is.
Nice.
And
anything else you want to do?
He's just going to shout as he's got this thing kind of stuck in its back, pull the trident out, and just ready for another attack if if this thing is still standing when it comes around to him again.
Okay. That brings us to you, Grom.
I mean, I'm gonna approach this thing's head and hit it in the head.
Go for it. Make your attack roll.
So since I cut its legs off, it's prone, right?
It is effectively what would be prone to you, but it is standing on like its pelvic section of the stone golem.
Oh, okay.
So it's still pretty much as tall as you are, if not a little taller.
Oh well, all right.
This thing was about 18 feet in total height.
Oh my god. I rolled another nat 20.
Jesus Christ. All
The
right.
blessings of
Well,
Tempest.
this thing's got 6 hit points left.
All right,
That's how
so
many
it-
you left it with after the last turn. So go ahead and tell the rest of the party how you dispatch this golem.
Tempest guides my blade true, and my extremely sharp sword cuts the stone golem right in half. I just swing down through its head and hit the stone just right, and it cracks in two.
It's perfect. The split is flawless. You can't see a single facet of it that's jagged. It's almost like just a smooth, instant laser cut. And it just falls open. So we're going to give the first HK of the night to Grom. Congratulations.
Big
Earned
flex.
yourself the coveted pat on the back. Good job.
A civilized.
Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
I guess I'll look around for others. Can I see them fighting down the corridor?
You can hear Dave roaring in bloodlust, and you can hear the sounds of combat ensuing, but you can't get like a perfect idea of who's throwing what punch or whatever.
I'll yell to Bob, "Come on, Bob!" and I'll run as far as I can down the hallway.
All right. And that actually brings us back to them, but the golem is gone. So that brings us to the Alhoon. Let's see if he gets a recharge. He does not. What's his? So he's actually going to try to glide up the stairs. And he's actually going to provoke an attack of opportunity from each one of you because he's within range as he's trying to fend off these barbarian spirits and flee up the stairs past you. So Dave and Nug, go ahead and make a single attack of opportunity at him.
23.
Kill.
23 hit.
Now, is that classified as an attack option? Do I get my extra attack?
No, you only get an attack of opportunity.
10 damage.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, attack of opportunity counts as a reaction, by the way. So if you've used your reaction this round,
Okay.
you won't get one either. But I don't think you have.
No, he hasn't.
No, I was just looking for the clarification on the extra attack feat because it says when you take the attack action. Okay.
Yeah, no, when it comes to an attack of opportunity, it's technically classified as a reaction and not as an attack action.
I got a 25.
A 25 hits.
Nine damage.
And this thing goes to try to slide past you as it floats up the stairs. And Nug reaches out and punches this thing right in the face, right in between its four tentacles, driving it backwards. And hold on a second. And then as he drives it backwards, you see Dave stab forward, just a little bit further with this trident, and it's actually impaled onto this trident. You see Nug from your side. You see the three tines of this trident burst out of its stomach, and Dave, from your side, you see this thing's neck snap backwards with so much force that its four tentacles fly back over its shoulders, and it's facing away from you, but it's actually looking directly at you. You're all effectively out of combat. I'm going to give you guys both the honorable kill for that one, because between the two of you, you did the 16 damage it needed to die.
Cowabunga.
Congratulations to the two
Teamwork
of you
makes
for
the dream work. So technically, Dave, you did kill the Alhoon. It just took you a little longer
Yeah.
and a
I
little bit
mean,
of help.
The prophecy has been fulfilled.
Well, Teef is at like 4 health, so he is out. He's passed out on the ground.
Teef is about to get hit with a guiding bolt. Don't think that Tempest didn't see what you did.
You don't know.
I was fixing to say, he may not just be sleeping.
Yeah, no, he.
You guys wouldn't know because Dave attacked as well. So there's no
Treacher.
reason for you to
Oh,
think
Dave can
that
get it too,
I
bro.
wasn't in control either.
Dave can get it too, dude.
Just say it.
Tempest doesn't judge. That's what I'm here for.
Can we
Hey,
loot the Alhoon?
For all they know, Dave was just trying to shock Teef and stop him from killing Nug.
I mean, honestly, that's what it looked like from our end. If we could look.
Well, either way, Teef's out. He's at 4 hit points, so he can't. He's cold.
You attacked me, so I'm not getting you up.
I imagine.
Oh, that's great.
I imagine Dave has a very, very vague impression of what happened, like almost like waking up in the morning and like remembering that you had this really weird dream, but you have no idea what you dreamed. I imagine it's like that. He's just kind of like, he remembers coming to, spinning around and stabbing this Alhoon, but that's all he remembers. Now that he's starting to calm down a little bit, he's just kind of like, what happened?
So are me and Landon or Grom, are we in the original room where like the treasure chest was, that big room, like where that tapestry?
You're in the big cathedral chapel with the anteroom for that chest off to one side and the hallway off to the other.
Okay, well, after we felt this golem and we heard the fighting stop down the hallway, I don't think we moved yet. I kind of want to go grab.
No, Grom said he was going to take off running down the hallway after he finished his attack on the golem.
Oh, okay.
But then it moved to the next turn, so he's in the process of running out of the chapel, but you're still standing there next to the golem's pieces.
If I'm not mistaken, I feel like I know that Grom was detecting magic the first time we were in here, but if I'm not mistaken, there
Correct.
was something that allowed me to see something off with that tapestry too.
That was just you knowing your religious history of the scene that was depicted in the tapestry.
I would like to.
That was the memory and the history that flooded through you from the ancient high priest.
Since I'm back in this room, taking everything in again, I'd like to remember that and run over and grab it and shove it in my bag of holding.
As you run up to this tapestry, give me a perception roll.
7.
7?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you just rip this thing down off its mounting and roll it up and stuff it in your bag of holding.
Yep.
And you hear whispered in your ear in that same ancient, soft, elven voice, the keystone.
The keystone. So I hear that as I'm rolling it up and going to stuff it in. So
Yep.
I guess I would stop and I would kind of spread it out like on the floor right there. And I guess I would
Okay.
use like an investigation or something to try to make sense of what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing.
Okay. So you roll this thing back out on the floor in front of you. And are you standing like you would be if you're looking at it if it was hanging on the wall? Or are you standing on the tapestry? Or are you kneeling and like inspecting it or what?
I imagine I would be kneeling and inspecting it with my hands on it, like leaning over
Okay.
it.
So you roll this thing out and you kneel down on one side and you start inspecting it and you're going through and you're inspecting everything. Give me another perception roll, this time with advantage.
Thank you for that. That's a 16.
And you get about halfway down this tapestry, and right just off to the left of dead center, what would be the exact center of this tapestry, you see depicted, woven into the tapestry, the image of the high priest, the one that you saw in your memory. And in his hand, he's holding a golden sunburst shaped object. And as you run your hands across that area, like, oh my God, I see it, your hand comes away and it's holding on to this small golden sunburst. And as you're taken aback, shocked by this metallic object being in your hand, the ring on your hand flashes a bright golden flash, and sitting right in the middle of this tapestry, in the middle of the floor, is the chest out of the other room.
Damn, I'm good. So I'm gonna hold the keystone to the chest or whatever, and try to. Well, first, I guess I'm gonna yell for Grom because he's the only one that's kind of half close to me,
Okay.
and I'll wait for him to come over before I start to try to open the chest.
Okay.
Because
Well,
everyone else is like 100 and some odd feet away from me, right?
All of them except Teeth. Teeth is only about 70 feet,
Yeah.
but he's
I
laying on the ground right now because he's only
so
got 4 hit points. He's hurting like a motherfucker.
I guess
Right.
I'll dig my heels into the ground and kind of slide
Skirt.
to a stop and start running back the other way.
I'm sliding spinners.
You run around the corner to find Bob kneeling on that magical tapestry with the chest out in front of him as he's pressing this golden sunburst down into the bottom of the trim of the chest. You see the top go and flip open of its own accord, and resting inside this chest, you can see a large golden glowing hourglass.
Bet boy. So I'm gonna grab the hourglass.
That thing's gotta be worth a ton of money, bro.
That thing's got to get us out of this level of this dungeon.
And you reach out and you grab
I
it, and
told
as you
you.
grab it, you feel the magic wash over you, and all five of you are instantly sucked up into a wave of golden light and pulled up through a magical gateway, and then deposited again through that same wash of golden light. And everybody give me a perception roll.
5.
7.
20.
14.
21.
I told you, Bob.
So that works.
And Bob and Teef, you're the only two who recognize it. The rest of you are immediately taken aback and shocked by it. You find yourself out under the open night sky. The both of you immediately recognizing it from the stars and the celestial bodies as Northern and Kara.
Great.
And that, gentlemen, is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Hooray.
Awesome.
We did it.
We didn't have to team kill nobody.
That's right. 'Cause that's what was going to happen.
I mean, we could have just, we're the survivors.
It came
like,
close, man. They beat the crap out of us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a couple more rounds, you guys wouldn't have been in good shape at all.
Well,
Friggin'
Well, I mean,
y'all would have been fine.
y'all are, I took 8 damage. That ain't nothing.
I mean, I did not. Thanks
Alright.
to this level up
Well,
before this
I'd like to
happened, I
thank
did
all
well.
of my players for joining me again. And I'd like to congratulate you on surviving level 8 of the Emporium. And stick around and we'll go through the loot list and everything else. But Nathan, if you want to do your closing ceremony, sir.
All right, I will now begin the Gregorian chant. If you could all bow your... No, not really. I am going to check something here. So, thanks everybody for joining, hanging out in the chat. If you were in the chat, thanks for Steve for running the game, players for playing. It was a lot of fun. Dave decided to run from an enemy that was nearly 20 feet tall, and at least 2 people were like, no, we're going to fight this thing. And it almost turned out bad, but we're alive, so that's what matters. I'm going to post the link to Steve's channel in the chat. If you want to see any of the VODs, if you're behind, you can check it out there. I think he's got everything up except for this one, obviously. And I will be sending him this one between tomorrow or Monday, and he'll get it up when he gets a chance so that you can catch up on anything you missed here. We stream Dungeons and Dragons again, Curse of Strahd on Wednesday nights. So if you find this and you're interested, you can come see a whole different group of people, except me. I'm in both, on Wednesday nights and hang out here on Dimension 119. Anybody got anything they want to say, do, or plug before we end up here?
Thanks for
Yeah,
watching.
keep your eyes peeled out on the channel. You're going to be seeing me and Mikey start a new series up right here directly.
Heck yeah.
That Emporium's lucky it survived us, dude. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, pretty much. This 8 levels of us kicking its ass.
Alrighty. If you guys, anybody in the chat wants to hang out for a couple minutes after we throw the end screen up, we're gonna go over and raid Eerie Corpse. She's a friend of the channel. She's playing some game called Boyfriend Dungeon. Tried to vote for her to play Call of Cthulhu, fit in with the creepy tentacle stuff, but apparently her chat won out for something else. We're gonna hop over there and raid her. If you want to hang out, you get extra channel points if you participate in the raid. And see a cool creator over there. If that's it, we'll see you guys in another dimension.